Hello, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of The World Through Electrospecs. This is episode number 11, and I'm joined this week with Mr. Tim Helbing and the Mr. Pete Bella that everybody's already familiar with. Everybody already knows Pete. But Tim is a guy who I recorded the show with quite a while ago. We recorded about... I want to say 20 episodes of the show and some change. And started it up with Pete again. Wanted to get Tim involved again. Tim is back for the most part. He's going to be back for a couple episodes, and then he'll be here and there every now and then. But this week, Pete and I were joined by Tim, and we talked about Battlefront II. Now, my original idea here was to... my original plan was to talk about Battlefront 2 for the first half, and then talk about The Last Jedi, touching on plenty of spoiler-related material, giving our thoughts, giving our ideas on the movie in the second half. What ended up happening, actually, for this episode, though, was we ended up talking about Battlefront 2 for the entire episode, which is fine. There was a lot to talk about. Pete got a little bored after a while. Tim seemed pretty interested the whole time. But yeah, we had a lot of fun talking about it. I'm pretty happy with how the episode turned out. This week's episode of the World Through Electrospecs podcast. This week's episode of the World Through Electrospecs podcast is brought to you by my Patreon supporters. I've recently made some changes to the Patreon, where everything is $1. So, that being said, this week's episode is brought to you by Mr. Tony Troxel, Mr. Johnny Ferris, JD's Place, Josh Spike, Brett Yerkes, ZGM Studios, the lovely Miss Haley Johnson. She's a favorite of mine. Kelly L. and Timothy Helbing. Believe it or not. Yeah, he actually, after we were done recording the show, he went on and became a Patreon supporter. So he's on the show, and he's also supporting the show on Patreon for $1 a month. Brett Yerkes has been doing that for a long time. So it's not the first time we've had a member of the show supporting the show. But that being said, that sounds ridiculous, and it is, and I think it's absolutely cool. I cannot thank them enough for being a part of it. I can't thank the rest of you enough for being a part of it either. I wouldn't be able to continue doing this stuff if it wasn't for the support of people like you. I'm going to have to do some cutting. I didn't want to do any cutting. I wanted to do it all in one take, but I'm going to have to do some cutting. Oh, I hate cutting. Just to remind everybody, I don't know what platform you're listening to the show on, but you can listen to the audio version of this podcast on iTunes, on the Google Play Store, or any other podcast app, because they all use iTunes or the Google Play database. You can watch the video version, the multimedia version of this podcast on YouTube. And you can watch the live version of the show on Patreon as well, 4 p.m. Eastern every Friday. Become a part of the show. You can be on the live chat, and you'll be a part of the show forever. So yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in, and let's just roll the show. Just go with it. Let's go. Let's watch the show. I'm done with this. It's showtime, guys. Showtime. Coming to you live from TWTE Studios as Pete is texting in Fort Wayne, Indiana, America. This is the World Through Electrospecs. Woohoo! I'm Caleb from CalebFerris.com.
Oh, and I'm Pete Bella from Pete Bella.
And I'm Tim Helbing from Tim Helbing.
All right.
Wow. You didn't even want to plug a website?
Nah.
PeteBella.com.
Sure.
Or is it PeterBella.com?
Both.
Both?
Yes, you'll be redirected. I won't tell you which one is the redirection.
I sadly have no website.
Should I register TimHelbing.com and then hold you ransom for it and ask for money?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'll get peterbella.org, or I'll get Pete Bella since you have Peter Bella.
I have both Pete and Peter Bella.
I'll just
You
get the
have
I'll get the
.org.
.org
you
then.
can't. Yeah.
I'll get .gov.
Sure, go for it.
PeteBella.gov.
Yeah, I would buy that, the NEV, or the NET, the US, the CO, just get them all. Buy them all.
I heard something recently about apparently you can make your own custom thing. Yeah, like you can do
Domain.
like .toys or .cars or something.
I think I've seen something like that too. I just don't know.
I don't know
enough.
how it might be.
I don't
I have
know
no
enough
idea.
It might be
how
one of
that
those things
works.
where it's like
Yeah.
you're just buying a thing and it just redirects to an actual .com or something.
Right. No, I don't know.
Anyways, welcome,
Thank you.
guys.
All right.
It's good to be back.
Welcome,
It's nice to have a co-host.
a Coco host.
Yeah,
Coco.
a cuckoo host.
Are you saying that Tim's sweet?
No, I call him a cuckoo host.
Are you cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?
I am Cuckoo for Coco.
He's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I go off brand. Yeah.
It's still Cocoa Puffs. It's just. Anyway.
Anyways, this is our show now.
Yes, I can tell that.
Because he buys
Yes.
store brand Cocoa Puffs. When's the
No,
last time
they're
you
not even
bought
store
cereal?
brand. They're like X brand.
Do you guys eat cereal at your house?
Of course, everyone eats cereal. Who out there doesn't eat cereal?
I have.
Well, once in a blue moon, anyway. I'll eat cereal.
I guess.
You put Blue Moon in your cereal? Jeez. Starting the morning off right, I guess.
Gotta get through the day somehow.
Okay.
All right, so
All
our
right.
topics.
Yeah.
What is our topic?
What is our topic? We wanted to talk about Battlefront. For
You
the
have
first,
to.
for the first half.
When you edit the non-live show, you have to put in a little sound effect. What is our topic?
Topic. Ooh, maybe I can pop it up there.
Maybe.
I gotta try to keep track of the chat.
Most of the live show is going to be me like looking backwards.
You don't look like an old Chinese movie. I don't know what that's supposed to
Should we
mean.
be staring at the camera, or what are we?
My dad-
I don't know. That's up to you.
Hey, you can look at the camera. You can look at the microphone. You can look at the wall. You can stare me in the eye and confess your deep and profound love for me.
So what's our topic?
I mean, he did bring me cookies.
He did.
That physical contact was like 2 seconds too long. It started to get a little. It was starting to get a little.
Hey, there's gonna have some competition.
Is it coffee or is it hot in here? I don't know.
Hot in here. Oh yeah, but no, never mind.
Yeah.
We were gonna.
What's our topic? Let's just move
Battlefront.
along here. Yeah.
on,
Brett
move
does
on.
not.
Nothing to
Brett
say.
does not eat cereal. By the way, Brett's in the chat. Hey, Brett.
Hey, Brett.
How's it going? We're
I think it's
having
a Fort Wayne,
discussion.
Indiana problem.
Okay, look. One thing, and then we'll get on to our topic. I have a box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I ate about 3/4 of it, and then I ran out of milk. But I don't drink milk.
It's like the John Booth commercial. Got milk? Booth.
Oh,
Yeah, Tim.
yes.
Yeah, it's
I get it,
generational. Don't worry about it.
I get it.
Super Bowl commercial.
Brett says
Yeah.
hello. Hello, Brett.
Hello, Brett. All right, so our topic.
Our topic. The first half of the show, we wanted to talk about Battlefront. Now, Tim, I know you
Okay.
haven't. You said you didn't have a whole lot of
I've
experience.
not played Battlefront. I've not played Battlefront 1. I've not played Battlefront 2.
That's good, actually, because you'll be able to ask questions that kind of like.
I will ask the idiot newbie questions that
Yeah.
you were afraid to ask. So,
All right.
because I know absolutely nothing about
The questions
Battlefront.
you were afraid to ask. Number 4 will shock you. I haven't played the game. Pete's actually played the game, but have you finished
yeah.
the campaign?
No, not at all. No.
See, I've watched the campaign.
Yeah.
There's this YouTube channel.
So a part of me doesn't want any spoilers. That's the hardest thing.
Oh, you're getting spoilers, whether you like it or not.
I'm done.
All right, bye. No, are you okay with spoilers? Because it's a video game campaign, and on one hand, it's like it's just a video game.
It is.
So
It
you know
is,
what I never
yeah.
did? I'll give you 3 guesses on what I never did. What do I never do every show?
Start a timer.
I didn't start a timer.
Mine is
First
going.
guess.
I've got a timer going. I got his back. All right.
All I'm doing is
so,
sitting here eating cookies
So where do we start with
on a
Battlefront?
live show. Huh? Oh,
Don't worry, I've eaten.
So
That's part of the charm.
yeah, charm.
yeah.
That's the sound of charm,
Yeah,
folks. Brett says it was good. Brett, are you referring? I'm assuming he's referring to Battlefront.
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 Good. I'm glad.
Battlefront 2. So I haven't played much of it.
I keep saying Battlefront, but I'm referring to Battlefront 2. The one that actually has a campaign.
Yes.
Campaign,
Everyone
so
loves the idea that it has a campaign.
It's not just not just multiplayer. It has a campaign.
No.
It has
which
a
is,
story.
which is the biggest draw for me. I know a lot of people were excited because the first Battlefront game came out. It had like 4 maps and like just some generic characters.
Yeah.
Brett says he just finished the game. My dad says you thought the sound didn't match view. Okay, so Brett on the campaign.
Your dad is a little bit behind the curve there.
Yeah,
It's okay. He lives like in the middle of nowhere, so he probably has a lot more of a delay on the stream.
Yes.
And there's no problem with that. It's just like
Yeah, we figured it out.
the way it is.
We figured it out, John.
In the law. So the campaign's
Yes,
really good. It does tell a great story.
How far into the
What
campaign
story
are
does
you?
it tell?
Oh, I'm not very far in. I have just maybe, I don't know what you call them, scenes or episodes or whatever you want to call them.
Well, at what point? What are the characters doing at the moment?
They're flying around in space.
All right, he just described Star Wars.
Yeah.
So Tim is asking about what the campaign is,
What's the story?
what the story is.
Oh, the story is.
That's the biggest thing. I
No,
didn't want to
that's the
purchase.
biggest spoiler, I think.
I didn't want to purchase the game,
Yeah.
but I still.
Beware, you people. Here be spoilers.
There are going to be spoilers. Yeah, we're going to talk about some spoilers from the Battlefront 2 campaign, but the only people who are watching the live stream right now
Already played it, so
have either already played it or would like to hear the spoilers probably. Anyways, but for those of you who are watching the pre-taped version of this, the non-live version of this, we're going to talk about a few spoilers from Battlefront 2 campaign. But I don't feel like that's big of an issue because of the same reason I watched there's this YouTube channel called Gamer's Little Playground, which sounds like a really weird, it almost sounds like a horror movie. But it's a YouTube channel, and what they do is they take all the cutscenes from video games, and they combine them with just enough. Because if you just watch the cutscenes from a video game, when one cutscene ends and the other one and the next one starts. Did the live stream just end? What just happened here? I gotta restart or refresh the. Anyways, most of the time, it looks like it's still going, so we should be fine. Sorry, I got really distracted there.
Yes,
I don't
you did.
don't want the live stream to end because that would be bad. Hopefully, the live stream's still going. So, okay, Brett says no, we're good. All right, I guess it's just my browser acting up. Anyway, so usually when you're watching just the cutscenes from a video game, you run into this problem where one scene ends, the next scene begins, and there's a whole level of gameplay between there.
Right.
And typically the gameplay is just repetitive, and
Yes.
a lot of times it doesn't really matter. But
go kill a bunch of things, get loot, repeat.
exactly.
Bunch of cutscene, repeat.
But occasionally there will be elements of story in the campaign or in the gameplay.
Okay, cool.
So what this YouTube channel does is they take all the cutscenes from video games, they splice them together with just enough gameplay between the cutscenes to make sure that the continuity stays in place. So they'll just kind of fade through a quick section of gameplay where one character meets the next, or when you run into one character, or when you open one door, or when you get a piece of equipment or something like that.
I might have seen one of those. So
It's really, really good.
But I might have seen one of those.
The best part is it really starts showing off the amount of a cinematic experience you get from that video game. Because just the cutscenes alone from the Star Wars Battlefront 2 campaign is about 50 minutes long. But this Gamer's Little Playground, when they add just enough of the gameplay to give you the context you need to stitch those cutscenes together, it ends up being about an hour and a half long, which is about the length of a full-length movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So when you sit down and you watch this, it's like watching an episode of Star Wars.
Cool.
There are weird sections in the middle of the movie. There are weird sections during the movie where all of a sudden the camera angle is stuck behind a person and it's fighting people and stuff. But it's like watching a movie, which is really really cool.
Get to watch the backside of their head as they go kill bad guys. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I might look into that, even though I haven't even finished the campaign.
That's why I've watched the campaign twice, because it's like watching a movie, and I thought it was so good that I ended up watching it a second time.
It's really interesting.
It's really, really good. And there were some things that happened in that campaign that were really important. This is where we're probably going to start getting into spoiler material.
Is it canon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
It's
what I thought. It just
100% canon.
After, what was it, 2015?
It was April of 2013. Was it 2015? I thought it was 2012.
No, I don't think it was that 2012 was 6 years ago
This is why
anymore.
we
So
have
almost.
a computer.
And it's only been 2 years really since The Force Awakens. So maybe
Yeah.
April 25th, 2014.
Okay, 2014. So that was
I don't know if that's the actual date, but that's the date of release of the first article that pops up when I search for Star Wars canon wipe. So the legendary,
probably somewhere in that range.
the legendary Star Wars expanded universe turns a new page. Yeah, I think this is, it's on the Star Wars website. I think this is when they wiped it. I know it was April. I thought it was 2013 or something, but it's probably 2014. But basically, yeah, everything that wasn't movies or
Clone
TV
Wars,
that had also all the video games and books that had been released up to that point were legends, and then everything after that, which is where it wasn't Tarkin, it was the Darth Plagueis novel. There's a weird, and they're still kind of like debating that, because the guy who wrote that novel all the way up to April of 2014, and then they wiped Legends, and then he released the novel after they made that wipe the next month. So they're like,
My money would be no, it's not, probably because they just forgot about it. But
well, I think I think the last I heard, that they're treating it the same way that they're treating deleted scenes in certain episodes, where it's considered canon unless it directly competes with
something they put out.
Something they've put out since then.
Okay, makes sense.
So they could overwrite it, but as of now, unless it competes with something.
I actually heard today that some of the Dark Horse comics were still considered canon.
Really?
Yes.
Dark Horse. What were some of the Star Wars Dark Horse comics?
They did Empire or Age of Empire. They did Legends.
Did Dark Horse release the Clone Wars comics?
Yes, that's really what it was. Is the Clone Wars comics?
Yeah, there was something to do with
the Clone Wars, and I had not read those.
There were some good Clone Wars comics. I don't know if I think Dark Horse is the one.
Apparently, it was, because like I said, I think I read it today or yesterday. So,
but
anyway,
very
you're getting off
the
topic
story.
again.
No, it's okay. It's hey, that's what we do.
Yeah, no, that's true.
The story of the Battlefront II campaign, though.
Yes,
it tells the story of Inferno Squad, which is a group of Imperial.
I've heard a lot about. I don't really know anything about them, but I know a lot of the Dark 501st people who are gaga over Inferno Squad. So
right, and there was a little bit of controversy there too, because everybody was excited. Oh, we're finally getting something that's an official storyline that is based in the like Imperial realm. You know, it's following an Imperial storyline.
Some good guy Imperials, basically, or from Imperial.
That you're painting the Imperials in good light.
Right.
It's this whole like flipped perspective of the Empire is the good guys and the rebels are just terrorists that blow things up.
Right.
Right? But maybe not even halfway, I'd say like a good third of the way through the game, they just follow every trope from that movie, from that narrative style. And about a third of the way through the game, the bad guys are told to do something that they decide are wrong, and then they switch and become rebels, and then the rest of the game they're rebels. So it's like, it doesn't even matter, you know. They were marketing this as, we're finally pumping out something that's like.
Bro, that's going to piss a lot of people off.
Imperial, it did. Yeah. It did. It pissed a lot of people off because they were marketing like they were doing something that was Imperial enthusiast for the first time ever, it seems. And then right. You're not even halfway through the game, and they're switching.
And that's our timer of our 15-minute mark.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
It's only been 15 minutes. How long are we doing this podcast?
Brett says it felt sooner than that. I think it did too. Because at what point in the game are you? Have they swapped yet?
Oh, I thought you was talking about the timer.
No.
I'm really early on. I've gotten to the point where they've, like, the game just started, right? So you kind of go through the wooded area and you make it to the platform where the TIE fighters are on, and they escape in the TIE fighters.
So you haven't even made it off Endor.
No, I made it off Endor.
Okay.
So I'm in the.
Have they gone after the satellites yet?
So this takes place right after Return of the Jedi.
I am just at that point.
It takes place just before Return of the Jedi ends.
Just before Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, which is super, super interesting. So, and really quick before we call the timer up.
Yeah.
Because we do have to take a break. Otherwise the cameras are going to explode.
That's a true thing. That's a real thing.
Yeah, they really explode. No, they don't really explode. Anyways, so literally the beginning premise of the story is, you know how there was this whole thing where the rebels were going to attack the second Death Star over Endor,
Right.
And their whole plan was that the shield bunker was going to get blowed up,
Right.
and then
Had to disable the shield. Yeah.
they had to disable the shield, and then the rebels were going to right in, and then they were going to start shooting at the big space boob, and then it was going to explode. And then out of nowhere, they find out that the Death Star is operational, and they turn around to flee, and then the Imperial fleet comes out of nowhere.
Operational Death Star.
So
Battle station.
Whatever it is. It doesn't matter.
Operational battle station.
He had fun with
Firepower.
that.
I'm afraid your friends have. Okay. Anyways,
That's not good.
Yeah.
so the whole
Try to get
premise
a
of the
50-year
beginning, the whole premise of Inferno Squad and the beginning of Battlefront II campaign, is that there is a rebel ship that has intercepted a Imperial transmission and has the information on their ship on a data cube or whatever the hell it ends up being, that the Imperial fleet is hiding on the other side of Endor to ambush the rebels.
Okay.
Inferno Squad is sent to grab that information so that that information doesn't get back to the rebels, so that the Imperial fleet
Right.
can still surprise them when the battle comes in. So the whole thing there is that behind it, they're adding more behind the scenes. They're adding more information behind the scenes, because all we know is that the Imperial fleet surprised the rebels, right? But the whole idea with the Battlefront 2 campaign is that, hey, the rebels almost knew that they were going to get ambushed, but Inferno Squad nicked that. And then while Inferno Squad is sent down to Endor to kind of snuff out some of the extra rebel groups, they're down there going about a mission that they've been given, and they're like, yeah, Empire, blow up rebels, blah, 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 and then
Death Star blows up.
Death Star blows up in atmosphere,
Yeah.
and they're like looking up at the sky, and they're like,
What the?
yeah.
No way. Yeah.
And
Now
then
what?
immediately they get that that contact from
Yeah.
they get that call from
Bug out, yeah.
from the Admiral, where he's like, new plans, we need to regroup. So,
Good
Okay.
stuff.
anyways,
Yeah.
we gotta take a break.
All right, let's take
We're
a
gonna
break.
reset the
Let's take a
cameras.
break.
What are we gonna do for the second half?
Are we going to continue that conversation?
I feel like we
Or
can.
You want to move on?
I thought that we were gonna be done already, but we still have more
Oh.
Battlefront stuff to talk about. So
All right.
instead of talking about the Last Jedi for the second half, we could just continue talking about
Last
Continue
Jedi.
topic for the next time.
episode. you
yeah,
got it.
yeah. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be back.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Tim,
Yes, Caleb.
Pete,
Caleb.
do you like cold chicken?
Cooked cold chicken, sure. Raw cold chicken, no.
You don't like raw cold chicken?
No, sir.
You like cold chicken, Tim?
Cooked, yes.
What are some things that you like that's cold, that's been like sitting in your fridge for a few days, and that you don't feel like you're not? If you, let's say you don't own a microwave,
Do you know what the number one thing is? Pizza.
Yeah.
pizza, cold pizza.
Cold pizza, that's it. And here's an odd one.
Cheese.
You ready? Pork and beans.
Okay.
Other than pizza, it would depend on how hungry I am.
So basically, what we have is pork and beans and pizza. That's it. We got
Yeah.
two things that you like that's cold.
Oh, I'll eat chicken.
There's
I'll
not-
eat fried chicken.
My point is, there's not much that you like eating cold. That's old. Most of the time, you like to eat things fresh and warm, right? Typically, you like to eat things
Yes.
fresh and warm. So, that's about as far as I got with that thought process. I don't know where I'm gonna go with that.
I wasn't sure where you were going with it, but I was rolling with it.
Well, I was gonna plug the Patreon.
What would you not eat hot?
Ice cream.
Okay, that's not where I was going. I was gonna plug the Patreon. That's where I was going with this.
What does cold
So
chicken have to do with the Patreon?
well, because
Roosters have entered the hen house.
no, no.
Everybody had a grand time.
Yeah.
No, because with Patreon, for a singular dollar per
You
month.
can have a cold piece of chicken.
No, you can't have a cold. You're ruining this. You're ruining it. I'm keeping all this audio. No, for $1 a month, you can get access to all the videos and podcasts that I make ahead of when everybody else gets it. So you don't have to get.
And
you
how
don't,
far ahead
You don't
is
have
that?
to wait for the cold chicken.
Sometimes it's. Hey, look at that live stream right there. The chat, Brett, he's right on board with you with the pork and beans.
Yeah,
Right,
right on.
But that's
Right
pork
on.
and beans. when you're talking videos, you don't want some old cold crap that's been sitting in the fridge for a few days when you don't have a microwave. You want to watch it fresh. You want to watch it when it hits the digital,
When it's
it hits the
off the
airwaves.
stove.
When it just
Amen, brother.
You know, like when you go to a restaurant, they've got not fillet. What is that called? The
Chick-fil-A.
no. They've got that
like
Steak-
a flaming fajita.
fajita. That's the word I was looking for. Is that F word? The
That was
fajita.
really bad. I tried to do a little roll of the
But they're
tongue.
walking by with that fajita and they got that plate and it's going past
Yeah.
your, and it's like part of it's the smell. The smell sounds good, but it's also
You're hungry and you're seeing that food.
it's
and you
nice.
hear the
It's
sizzle.
nice and
No,
it's hot and it's
yeah.
fresh. That's what you want. That's what you
We're
want.
hot, fresh, and sizzling.
Yeah, we're hot, fresh, and sizzling, and you can watch us when we're hot, fresh, and sizzling, either in the live stream or
But it's going to cost you $1.
what? Just $1.
Just
we need to
$1.
we need to hire an old guy. To
I'll
just
buy
stand
that
up.
for $1.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, Tim will buy that for $1. And Tim is what's the
Frugal.
word? Frugal. There we go. I'm doing bad with F words today.
Not a cheap. He's frugal.
Yeah.
No, I'm
so
a cheap bastard.
that's the yeah, okay. So that's the point I'm getting to.
They're not
For a single
mutually exclusive.
just a single $1 a
It
month.
goes a long way.
Yes.
And you get fresh, hot, fresh prepared, just sizzling right into your eardrums.
Wait,
and you're
let's
ready to
test.
go.
Ready? Ooh! That was dumb. Okay.
You can get that sizzle for $1. And we're back.
And we're back. Started. Timer has started, Caleb.
I usually don't have this much
on the clock, people.
effort, or I usually don't have this much energy in an episode. But I've had coffee, I've had cookies, I'm surrounded by a couple of really cool friends.
He's on a sugar and caffeine.
People are
diet.
actually a part
Yes.
of the live stream chat. I'm happy about this. It's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good.
A nice little piece of advice, or not advice, but just a little nugget, just a little tiny little sprinkle,
Yeah.
straight from Brett Yerkes. Just all good.
All
No
good.
caps, no punctuation.
He
Just
had a little sizzle.
all good, man.
He had a little sizzle.
Brett has the sizzle.
Sizzle. He does. He
Okay.
does have the
Great. Is that going to be the new thing?
No,
We got
I
the
don't know.
sizzle. So anyway, Battlefront.
Get the sizzle.
Yeah. Yeah. Battlefront. Battlefront 2.
Yes, Battlefront 2.
Battlefront 2.
Where did we leave off?
Indoor.
So
they just
you-
escaped in.
you
They just left indoor. We were talking about the storyline.
Yeah, so basically you've gotten to my part that's all played out, and Tim doesn't know anything, and you know it all because you've watched it.
I mean, I don't. I know some stuff.
You've watched it a few times.
No, so I had this interesting idea, and I was talking to our good friend Obi Cruz,
Oh yeah.
Mr. Obi-Wan, as I call him, about Brett. It's nothing. He just sent 4 bacon emojis. Brett's got the
bacon.
sizzle. It's bacon.
So anyway,
Yeah. Anyhow, thank you for the sizzle. Okay.
Thanks for the sizz. Oh,
All right.
sizzle.
Sizzle. So what was your thought then?
So I was talking to Obi Cruz,
Yes.
and he gave me an interesting. He engraved this idea in my head
Okay.
that the Battlefront II campaign either reveals or alludes to the fact that they're revealing Rey's parents, her lineage. You haven't gotten there yet, and you haven't gotten there yet.
No.
You haven't
I
even
call
started.
shenanigans. I don't think they know what they raised parentage is.
Tim
They
calls
wouldn't-
bamboozle.
They wouldn't do that yet.
I don't think they have any idea.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. They bamboozled. In the campaign, and I'll just have to explain this to you guys and try to describe it as best as I can because what are you doing with your
Nothing.
phone, man?
Just
playing with your
messing
phone.
with stuff. Okay.
Quit fiddling your.
So bamboozled.
So they bamboozled me.
Shanghaied.
Bamboozle.
Sure, just go with it.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I was shanghaied apparently. I probably shouldn't use a. Never mind.
well, it
No,
doesn't
probably
mean what
not.
you think it means. But anyway, continue.
That word doesn't mean what you think it means. So they did this thing where throughout the course of the movie or throughout the course of the game, Iden Versio,
Yes.
the main character.
She's the main character. She's the lead
female.
of the
She's
Inferno
She's
Squad.
the leader. Her and Dell, who is the guy with all the pouches and the sniper rifle,
Heavy weapons.
Okay.
Yeah.
who has the he has the court. I don't know if it's Karelian. I don't think it's Karelian. He's got the British accent. And in the Star Wars
Corellians
universe,
are more of an American accent. So the Corellians are more of an American accent.
right? But there's a
Coruscant is more of the
Coruscant.
It's Coruscant.
Coruscant.
How do you pronounce it?
Like
Coruscant,
croissant.
Imperial
if
Center.
you're Jake Lloyd.
Yeah.
Imperial Center.
Yeah, but he's got that British accent that in the Star Wars universe, that British accent
Is pretty much.
that hair is driving me crazy, hanging off your hat.
I don't know what is happening
Okay,
here.
I don't either.
I'm grooming
Caleb
him.
touched me.
he touched me.
Help. Send
Don't
help.
make me come back there.
So
I will
he's
turn
got
this
the
show
accent.
around.
We'll turn this battle station around.
So he's got that British accent, and everybody's kind of weirded out. They're like, "Who's this Rey character? Why does she have a British accent when she grew up on this planet of Junkers?" You know.
That's
So
one of
all
those
the
things where you just gotta go with it.
right, but in the Battlefront campaign, the main character, the lady,
Yeah.
the Iden Versio,
Iden, yeah.
and Del, they defect. Is that what it is? They defect to the rebel side from the Imperials. They become good people. And then the third member of the group, Hask, Gideon Hask, he stays with he just buckles down and he doubles down and just digs the hole deeper and becomes even more Imperial.
Yes.
Well, good
Where
for
the
him.
other two go rebel, go with the rebellion. And over time, as they're fighting with the rebellion, they start to fall in love.
Okay.
And then people are like, wait a minute. This takes place immediately after, probably about, it starts off at the Battle of Endor, but then it does a time skip a little bit.
Now,
And
Jakku was what, a year after?
30.
No, I know it was, but the Battle of Jakku.
The Battle of Jakku,
That was like a year, 2 years
I
after
think that happens in
Endor.
the campaign. I should know this. I watched the campaign twice. Brett, you just finished the campaign. You chime in here. Doesn't the Battle of Jakku happen in the Battlefront II campaign at some point? Maybe. I think so. I think that's where the campaign leaves off. All I know... Yeah, it is. It is, because Iden and Del end up smooching on Jakku after the battle is over,
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
And then...
Okay. Perhaps, maybe.
I'm getting...
So maybe-
Brett just made a really good point, and I'm getting there in a second.
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm going to save that comment. It's about a year after the Death Star blows up.
Okay.
Jakku, the Battle of Jakku is.
Okay.
But if Iden and Del end up falling in love in this kind of year or a couple year period after the Battle of Endor, and Rey is in her 20s in The Force Awakens, which takes place 30 years after the Battle of Endor,
There's
then
possibility.
theoretically
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
possibility, plus the fact that you've got two characters that are being introduced in this game campaign that is official canon
Right.
before The Last Jedi
Right.
is released. So this campaign comes out, and they say that the campaign's going to have stuff that kind of leads into the story of The Last Jedi. And we're like,
Ooh,
so all of a sudden these two characters fall in love. One of them has a
Right.
British accent, and it's like, are they implying that these are Rey's parents? This is interesting.
Well,
And
everybody was
then-
speculating about Jen Erso before Rogue One that she might be Rey's mother. So basically,
Well, there was that too.
any woman with a British accent in Star Wars
But-
is potentially Rey's mother.
But this felt like, especially since the campaign came out right before, it's canon
Right,
campaign that came
right.
out right before The Last Jedi was, and they said that in The Last Jedi they were going to give a little bit more insight on Rey's lineage. So it was like, it felt like it was a really heavy hint, right?
Yeah.
Well, then the DLC comes out, as Brett mentions in the live chat here, the Sizzle chat,
The
Sizzle chat. As Brett mentions here in the DLC, suddenly we find out that because the DLC takes place in the time frame of the Force Awakens and the Last Jedi, so there's a Last Jedi kind of era DLC that comes out with more campaign storyline and more missions. And
I
stuff
was
like
just
that.
going to say that a few seconds ago. Is they're saying yes, this is going to tell you storyline, but I'm like, I bet you it'll be DLC content. that
Well, and
fills
then
in
the
blanks.
DLC comes out, and I only watched the first couple of minutes of the DLC content.
Okay, go back. What is DLC?
Downloadable content. So it's
Okay.
like
It's
when you
add on to the game.
Oh.
yeah,
Okay,
when
so
you
you
buy a
pay
game
extra, okay.
and then you pay a little bit extra, or you've got a
Okay.
subscription or something like that, and then they
So
come
it's a
out
way
with
to
more
get
content.
more money out of you. Okay, gotcha.
So they put out the campaign of the thing, and then these two characters fall
Almost
in
like
love,
the loot crate
and
problem.
Yes, I
people
heard about
think
that.
that it's hinting strongly towards these being Rey's parents. And then The Last Jedi comes out, and then the DLC for Battlefront 2 comes out, where it's continuing the campaign storyline, and we find out that they did have a daughter, but it's a totally new character. They completely made up this character. She has her own personality. She looks nothing like Rey. It's an entirely different character, and they are doing some cool storyline aspects, or some cool narratives between like between Iden.
Brett's like, Tim just learned how EA operates.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's
There's been a lot. Have you
standard,
seen
but
the
I didn't-
controversy with EA?
I heard about that. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's
That's a whole other
trying to
conversation.
get you to spend more money.
Definitely.
That's what it's all about. The Benjamins, folks.
It's all about
They're not in this for the content.
They're
in there for
flashing
the
that bling
Benjamins.
bling to make that in paper.
So
Did you see that? Did you see that video?
No, no.
anyway,
All right, I'll have to show it to you later. But
That sounds pretty interesting.
so yeah, they kind of set this thing up, and they're like, oh, we're gonna get parts of the story, and basically, no, not really,
Not really.
not really.
Gotcha.
Bamboozled again.
Yep.
Bamboozled again.
So then, where does
Brett,
that
just out of curiosity, real quick, how are you watching this?
with his eyes?
Well,
yeah, obviously with his eyes.
all right. Anyways, I was just wondering if he was like watching it on his phone, or if he was like able to
Yeah.
cast it to his TV or something.
Right. Yeah, he's
Cool if
actually
you
at a
can have a
drive-in
live studio
theater
audience.
projecting it to a.
All right, you guys are jerks. That's what you guys are.
Jerks.
Jerks.
I'll
You say so.
Yeah, I'm a jerk.
No, Tim is the opposite. You're both. Oh, he's watching it on his laptop.
Nice.
You guys are both the opposite of jerks because you joined me on the show.
Thank you, Caleb.
Aw.
How much time we got?
5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yeah,
Five
about
and a
5
half.
minutes. So what does this then lead us to?
I didn't. I'm
expect
sorry.
next?
I just set off a really long sigh because I'm trying to calm down for the end of the show. That was not meant to be. Oh, we got 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
That's not what that was supposed to mean.
Yeah. So what does going through this understanding the campaign lead you to think as what's next? Will they put out more downloadable content?
I think they
Or will it be Battlefront 3?
I think they're releasing more content. I just don't know if they're. I don't know what they're releasing. I don't know what the storyline is going into.
My money would be on releasing more content because Battlefront is so new.
Yeah.
I mean, games anymore, you're going to get probably two or three updates before they start going on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So they want to try and stretch that out a little bit.
For example,
I do know that-
Battlefield,
Sorry.
which is kind of the same, and I'm going to use the wrong gamer language, but kind of the same engine behind Battlefront 2. That game's been out for over a year now, and they're still putting new downloadable content.
Battlefront 2?
No, Battlefield.
Oh, Battlefield.
Battlefield
Yeah.
1?
Yeah.
And they're still releasing more downloadable content on a regular basis. So
Well,
the game
if people
still
are
feels
buying
very
it,
fresh, very new.
People are willing to pay, they'll keep making it. So.
How,
So you
how
think-
the First Order took over the galaxy.
Oh, that might be the next.
I think that's what he's saying. I think Brett's.
Sure, because a lot of
Well,
people
you
are
blow up
wondering about
7
that.
planets
Right,
in a-
right.
Blow up 7
Good
planets
call.
at once. That makes it. You take out the leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes it kind of easy.
Yeah, because a lot of people did want that story.
You thought Space Boob 2 was big.
Yeah.
We're gonna make Space Boob Planet. All right, that came out wrong. That came out way wrong. Okay, I'm sorry. I was referring to Star Killer Base. But
Isn't that what Star Killer Base is, right? It's
Yeah.
it's the whole Boob planet.
I'm hearing something. Boob planet? That's what I'm hearing.
Well, the Death Star is a big round orb.
I'm not wearing a
with
hat.
a,
I just realized I'm not wearing a hat.
Okay.
yeah, it's got a-
nipple-esque
Gotcha. Okay.
weapon on it.
Gotcha.
And it shoots
So
out
you
stuff.
But you wouldn't. You need 2 of them. Oh, never mind.
So that story would be good.
I was just gonna let.
And you
that
know what? That would be a lot of
disperse.
fun to actually play in the gameplay.
Yeah. And I'm sorry I kind of ruined. They become rebels. That they
No.
fall in
I mean,
love.
it's enough where those types of spoilers are enough that it makes me go, ooh, how does
I want to
that
go back.
happen?
Yeah, I want to go back and play more
So now I'm like, ooh,
Get back into the story.
Yeah. How does that come about?
Hopefully, if you tell a good story, I mean, that'll go a long way to making people all right with it. So
Well, and that's where I felt like it was. I wouldn't say tragic. I think tragic is a little bit too intense of a word, but I definitely think it's more than just slightly unfortunate that such a good story is
Series
being.
of unfortunate events.
Yeah, that such a good story is just being told in a video game campaign. We've got so much interesting content and new visuals and new narratives that are being told in the Star Wars universe that are canon. Because I mean, the graphics in the CG
well, we are getting a
What
live
is it?
action TV show in the next
I
year.
can't
or
get
two,
words
so.
out sometimes. I just I come up to a roadblock of words.
Yeah.
Okay, go back and retrace your steps.
The videos. The videos.
The cutscenes.
The cutscenes. There we go. Good lord.
Cutscenes.
So the graphics and cutscenes are so
The
beautiful.
cinematic cutscenes.
They're
Cinematic
cinematic.
cutscenes,
It's
yes.
like watching a movie.
Well,
and
that's what it's all about.
And-
so.
yeah,
And
it
to
looks
be-
good. It's got a good storyline, but there's such a large, just chunk of the fan base that's not going to see that because they don't play games.
Sure.
Which is where the YouTube channel
Wouldn't that be
Gamers
cool
Little
if they
Playground
actually did release that as
is
a
helpful.
full-featured movie someday? That
It's
would be kinda
about it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours long, including gameplay. If you're okay with the subtitles from the, and
Right.
if you're okay with the random chunks of gameplay,
Yeah.
sit down and watch it.
That'd be
I'll
neat.
put a link to the video in the show notes
I think they did a
of,
really
the, of
good
this
job.
episode. So if
too.
you're listening to the podcast or you're watching the podcast,
Yeah.
definitely if you've got the time and you're a big Star Wars fan, you want to see the storyline,
The
but you
link
don't
will
want
be
to play the
below.
game. The link will be in.
Not up
It'll be
there.
in the notes.
It'll
It'll
be
be in the
down there.
notes of the podcast listener
Right.
app or the website or YouTube or whatever
And,
you end up watching it on.
Even the transition playing the game from the cut scenes back into the action, they seem seamless.
it's
They
very
really do.
yeah, in the gameplay and
Right.
also the way and in the video. Because in the video, they'll start the mission, then they'll cut to the middle of the mission, then they'll cut to the end of the mission, leading into the next cutscene, and it's not just like a. They actually
Right.
they do a little bit of a fading effect, and every now and then they actually change from third person to first person perspective, depending on what's going on within
Nice.
the gameplay. So they're almost adding another weird element of production into a gameplay recording specifically to make it more of a cinematic experience. And I think the amount of extra effort that they're putting into that this is just one video. They've got this for. I mean, they've got all sorts of weird. They've got weird games on there that nobody cares about. They've got a movie
that's interesting.
of cutscenes and gameplay stitched between them of some of the old Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie video games from PlayStation 2.
Oh, wow.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to totally like. I mean, this episode isn't sponsored by that YouTube channel or anything, but I'm just saying, like, from the discussion of Battlefront, I would definitely say this
Brought
channel
to you
has a
by-
lot going
Yeah.
for it. That particular Gamers Little Playground is what it's
Gamers
called,
Little
and they've
Playground.
got some
Great.
cool stuff going on
Yeah.
that channel.
I'll be watching it. I don't know if
check
I'll
it out.
watch it. We'll see. We'll see how soon I get back into the gameplay.
Actually, through a recommendation, I went back and watched a quote-unquote movie of the cutscenes and gameplay from an old game that I used to have for the original Xbox that was the Clone Wars game. And
No, sure.
man, those graphics are terrible. They're terrible,
Yeah.
but I was able to go down kind of this weird road of nostalgia
Yeah.
where I was like, oh, I used to play this game, and then I got to this one level and they had ghosts in it, and I was afraid to go any further, and I just didn't keep playing. And I got to see what happened after that because somebody else was playing it, and I'm older and I don't get scared by ghosts nearly as much anymore. So
Good. Good.
That's good to know.
yeah, I'm working on it. I'm going to a therapist. Those ghosts, man, they get to me.
I ain't
But
afraid of no ghosts.
you know, you can just call, you know who you can
And
call.
I'm the one with the
Yeah.
Ghostbuster costume.
I was gonna say, you know who you can call.
The Ghostbuster. Goat butter.
Goat
butter.
Call the goat butter.
All right, Brett's
Yeah.
saying see ya. We got to
I
wrap up
gotta,
here.
yeah, I
right,
gotta
guys.
see everyone later.
So
See ya.
thanks everybody for listening. Pete, where can people find you?
PeteBella.com and Instagram at Pete Bella Jr. Caleb's like, just tell them.
Yeah, and Instagram. Just go to the front page of Instagram. He'll be there.
Yeah. All you gotta do is type in
In your
Pete Bella.
dreams.
It'll show up.
Yeah, it'll show up. And
It'll
Tim,
show up.
You can
if you
find
want
me
people to find you.
If you want to find me, if you want to look me up, I'm on Facebook, Timothy Helbing. If you've got a mutual friend, I'll be more likely to add you. So if not,
Right.
you're probably not going to see much. I'm sorry.
Or sometimes around 4 o'clock at the Acme Bar and Grill for dinner.
Sometimes, yes. If you know where the Acme is, come find me. There's a good chance I'll be there.
Share some dinner with Tim.
Share some din
Yeah.
with Tim. And you can find me at calebferris.com. And all of my social media profiles can be found on that website, so just go to that website. It is a directory to everything else that I do.
Yes.
It just funnels right through there. Just me, you, this is you, the website is here, and you go whoosh, and then the rest of that is me.
It's an experience you'll never forget.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways,
Yeah.
are we doing a post show? I know you got to get going. I could just do a
I
post
can
show
stick
with
around.
Tim.
I think you and Tim could do a post show.
All right.
That would be great. As long as you don't mind cleanup.
I
can
do
help.
not. I do not mind cleanup.
Awesome.
Are you okay with the post
I'm
show?
okay with the post.
Are you
All
okay
right.
with stopping audio?
No. We got to do audio for the post show.
Well, I'm just saying all you have to do is press stop.
Oh, you
Just
mean?
if
Are you
you
okay
know
with
how
me
to-
doing the stopping it later? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Get out of here.
Okay. All right, Pete. I don't know. What are we doing? This is weird. Yeah, I can do the cleanup.
Powers.
I just got. What do I got to do? I
Exactly.
push the space bar and then click stop recording.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And
Thank
then-
you for
and then
joining
you
me,
can
Pete.
just go to File and Export Multi-Track Session.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. And
Bye,
if
everybody.
you want to go to the post show, go to Patreon. Patreon, $1 post show. All right,
All right.
later.
See ya.
Bye.